So I actually started probing the long side in the first week of April. Even before that, actually, like, well, when we bottomed and we started to come up off the lows like that, there were day trades in there. But the question, I think, is more about, like, for swing trades. For me, swing trading is my bread and butter. Like, that's how I'm paying for to keep the lights on, right? So for swing trading, where I'm looking to hold for a period of several days, several weeks, if a trade is going to work out, what I'm looking for are stocks to be setting up on weekly charts and on daily charts. And takes a little bit of time after a bottom. So I started to see some setups really the first week of April. And as of this, what is today? Today's the 18th. So that's a Saturday, and we just went through our list where we saw a few potential high type flags forming in some key names like Teladoc, like Zoom. Those have been two of the major leaders in this market that we've seen. It's starting to form high type flags. Real interesting. Will it work? Heck if I know, right? Like, nobody, and that's another thing too, right? Like, nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. The thing that you want to do when you're going through the market and looking at different stocks, different watch lists, like, you want to see, well, what the setups are. And if you're seeing a lot of bullish setups, then that's the market telling you that, hey, there's a lot of bullish setups right now that fit whatever your parameters happen to be. Okay, great. Let that be your guide of if you should be going in a little bit more, or if you should be pulling back, or maybe even going the other way. So just to continue using this weekend as an example, let me see, how many bullish setups did we get? I have the notes for today all written up right here, right? And so this is what we do every weekend. Well, we go through, first we're going to look at the trends on the indexes. So we've got monthly, weekly, and daily right here. And so the monthly charts are still down, right? Because we're in the middle of April and we haven't finished the current monthly bar. Like, you might take a look at a monthly chart right now and say that, what are you talking about? For the month of April, like, it's near the highs of April, but we're in the middle of April. That bar, you can't make a decision on it yet. Anything can happen in the next 2 weeks. So taking that bar out of the equation, the trends are still down on monthly. Okay, great. Moving on to the weekly and to the daily, both of those are in strong uptrends across the board. Amazing. Continuing on to the number of stocks making new highs versus new lows, and that tends to be a bit of a leading indicator. Well, what I'm still seeing is a substantial dry up in the number of stocks making new lows for the past several weeks, and new highs starting to creep up just a little bit. But yeah, like, the market fell so far so fast that you wouldn't expect to see too many stocks making new highs, and it's actually a little bit productive to not see that many making new highs yet, because it gives time for a proper basis to form, and it gives you the opportunity to participate on the upside. Amazing. So then we go through the watch list, right? And I have this watch list of about 100 or so, a little bit more than 100 different ideas. And the ideas come from pretty much anywhere, so long as they fit my parameters of what an eagle stock is. And I've done a bunch of videos on what an eagle stock is. Go back through the YouTube channel and find one of them. But anyway, so long as it fits those parameters, it gets onto my interesting ideas list. So every Saturday, I'm doing this webinar, the weekend prep webinar. Go to marrowwealth.com and click on events. You'll see it there. But we go through this and we look for the different setups. And we came up with 8 bullish setups this week, 6 bearish setups. Okay, so it's kind of even, right? then it's like, all right, well, let's go see which ones are strong. Like, well, what's our focus list going to be? Because when you're going through your list, right, like, and I recommend taking 2 passes at your list. The first pass is going to be real quick, right? Like, you're just scrolling through all the things on your watch list, and you want things to be popping out at you that you will trade. And if it's not popping out at you, if you have to look a little too closely at the chart, then you might try to just see things like bias starts to enter in. You want it to leap off the screen at you and then dive into those. Found 14 total, 8 bullish, 6 bearish today. All right, great. So of what we found, I found 6 bullish setups that were worth trading. Actually, no, I take that back. There were 5 bullish ones, 1 bearish one that was worth trading. And then after that, there were 3 that I wanted to put on my focus list for this week that I'm actually going to place swing trades orders on. Those 3, I'll just tell you right now: Apple, ServiceNow, and TeleDoc. All those looked very interesting to me. We'll see if they break out. If they break out of the entry points that I set. And also what this does is it helps me figure out, well, how heavy or light do I want to be stepping on the gas right now? For me, I still want to be pretty light since we did come off the lows so much. There is some potential resistance that we could fall back, but the trades that I put on last week are still working. I put on trades in AMD, I put on trades in Microsoft, and those are still working, those are still running. They worked to the point where I was able to lock in some gains, raise my stops, and now that risk is off the table. Fantastic. Now I can redeploy that risk into one of these ideas, or all 3 if I split it up right. So I've decided that I want to put on an additional 1% capital risk for next week. So what that means is that between Apple, ServiceNow, and TeleDoc, that I will risk 1% of capital. And if all 3 break out at the same time, then that means that I might be putting on a third capital on each one of them. If one breaks out first and runs, and I'm able to raise my stop on it, then guess what? Then I get to redeploy that risk to something else while the other ones are still working. And that, my friends, is how you continue to level up while keeping your risks super small. And that's what's going to help you make money in this market over the long term. Anybody can do this. Like, if a guy like me can figure this out, and it took me a long time too, right? Like, it took me a decade to finally get consistent, and I continue to learn more and more every single day doing this, but you can figure it out. You could get there, and in an environment like where we're in right now, where people are getting laid off left and right, and you need to figure out another way to generate income for yourself, for your family, the market is a great place to do it. But if you approach it well, it's one of the best businesses in the world. If you treat it like a casino, then you're probably going to have the same kind of results as most gamblers that go to a casino have. So I implore you, do it the right way. Follow what we just said in this video, and if you want some additional help too, show up to one of the webinars. We're doing them every single week. Again, MaraWealth.com. Just click on the little events button and show up. I'll be glad to help you.